if you think of us as the children of God, if you think of God's DNA within us, or if you think of us as all part of the universe or part of source, then perhaps all of those answers are already within, and it's a matter of
Hmm.
allowing them out of us or into our heads or whatever. Or maybe they're just all around us and we're already connected to all of it anyway. So it's a matter of
Yeah, well,
tuning
yeah.
there.
Sometimes I often, what a ridiculous phrase. Sometimes I often, that's just so ugly. But I think I use the phrase that you have to clear the debris.
Mm.
When you're doing thought work, you have to clear the debris. But it really isn't debris. I don't mean to say that it's trash or not useful. It's just a layer that sits on top of another layer, and because there's a layer on top, you can't see what's beneath it. They may be, they often are of equal value, whatever that means, but they one obstructs the other, right? And so I often use that thing that thought work, you have to do a lot of I I believe we have to do a lot of thought work in our lives. And I believe it just seems to me that so many people just don't even think of the need to do thought work. If it occurs to them briefly, then they fling it out of their minds as quickly as they can. But thought work is just so important and to me it's a happy thing to do. It makes me happy to clear debris so that I can see something else?
Why do you think we avoid it? Or we often sometimes avoid it.
Well, I mean, you started off by talking about how we're fearful, and I think that a lot of people are fearful. What are they fearful of? They're fearful of, well, you said they're afraid of death, but
They're afraid they're not in control.
yeah, maybe they're afraid they're not in control.
I mean, a
Yeah,
lot of
there's
people don't
something
want to
else I want to
connect.
say, but it's
People
not
don't want to,
coming.
sorry.
No, it's just not coming to me. So keep going.
I mean, Mark has a sign behind him that says, "You are enough."
Hmm.
And that's really important because we have this idea of if we find out who we really are deep inside, we'll be in trouble. We better not listen to that. And we're not going to be enough. And so I think it's this fear of not being okay.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you said that, what immediately came to my mind was, well, I am enough.
Yeah.
I'm not like bragging about that necessarily, but it provides me, it sustains me to think I am enough. I'm doing a good enough job of working through things and getting a little, I don't want to say better, although better is part of it, but becoming truer.
Hmm.
I'm doing a good job of becoming truer with each passing year.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's good. That's enough.
Hmm.
And I think what prevents people from having that feeling of con contentment, this may be slightly is too strong,
Life satisfaction is the
yeah,
psychological construct.
satisfaction,
Yeah. Yeah.
People will say, "Are you happy?" And I mean, I am happy, but I'm at peace. I'm peaceful. I am comfortable.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm comfortable while constantly doing this thought work. And so I think I don't know. There must be a group of people. There is a group of people who are only comfortable if they don't have to do any thought work. I don't. I just
No, and
Right.
there's
maybe.
a group of people who are uncomfortable with thought work. Carmen, it has to do with your, I don't know, Mark, maybe you have an idea on this. It has to do with, I think it has to do with Carmen's just nature. Like some people have just the nature, and you had the upbringing where you felt loved, and you had the nature to say, okay, I'm okay. And I'm the same way, regardless. We've both been through weird stuff, right? And I think Mark's the same way.
Yeah.
And so, whatever tools you use to get there, Mazel tov. And then there's a group of people who can't get there because of whatever's
Yeah.
going on with their nature.
Yeah. And that's sad.
Carmen, I might answer your question or the question I asked you. Interest, the reflection back on yourself, if you're going to be honest about it, you will probably come to a conclusion that you need to change something about yourself. And that will probably be uncomfortable. And I think as
Right.
humans, we really would prefer to be comfortable than uncomfortable.
Right.
You know, if it says, oh, I need to have a conversation I've been avoiding, or I need to change this habit, or I need to exercise more, whatever it is, that may require us to do something hard. And so we kind of avoid it, right?
Right.
One thing I found interesting, because I've done yoga retreats and things like that, and I find the language of sort of that yogi, spiritualist, astrological belief. I was listening to someone talk about it, and for her, it was sort of a religion. And I thought, wow, you sound like my Mormon upbringing about growth and becoming and all of these things. And so sometimes I wonder if we are just all trying to tune into something and we're then interpreting it differently and it's becoming all these religions or whatever. But ultimately, there's something that we're trying to tune into that feels true. And then we're interpreting it through our own experiences and it's coming out differently. But I see so many things that we use different words, but whether it's spirit or soul or energy or whatever,
Right.
you see so many parallels and they're all sort of pulling us higher, pulling us to become our better selves, pulling us to love others more. So hopefully it's all coming from a good, loving God who, has some great future for us, but I'm not one
Yeah.
to say anything with certainty.
Yeah. Me neither.